Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to this EOA Best Practices webinar. My name is Leo Benedetti. I'm project manager at Systematic Paris region. I'll be the moderator for this session. Systematic is a partner of the EOA EDF funded project. We are organizing this Best Practices webinar in the framework of the second EDF Online Matchmaking Day, organized by the EOA project. This session will last 1 hour and we'll then leave the floor to many speakers that will contribute and share their experience on EDF projects. Let's say a few words about the agenda for today. So we'll start by introducing the EOA project and its objectives. Then we'll have the 4 presentations from EDF laureates, Piedra Fitta, Embedded Acoustics, GMV, and CEA. We'll also have some overview on the EOA upcoming activities for EDF applicants to meet and match, and at the end, the Q&A and wrap-up session. Before we start, let me just remind a bit on housekeeping rules. You have at the bottom right corner of your screen a questions box, which is for you to use and ask your questions to the speakers. You also have on the right a chat box for any other purposes, whether it is on connection, logistics, and every other issue you might have with the webinar. The session will be recorded. You will receive a replay afterwards, and a few minutes before the end of the session, you'll be able to download the PDF presentation. And thank you every speaker for joining and being available to discuss these really trendy topics. A few words about the EOA project then. The Enhancing Opportunities for All project is funded by the European Defence Fund, will last until 2026. And the main objectives of the project is first to enhance skills and network. Applications. Sorry, it seems it crashed a bit, so I'll be saying it again. The EDF funded project EOA Enhancing Opportunities for All will last until 2026, and its main objectives are to support EDF applicants and also to enhance skills and network among the national focal points or NFPs. These NFPs are in every member state and are here to support EDF applicants in the building of their proposals, whether it is on decrypting, demystifying the course, helping them in the search for partners, and so on. And this event is part of those activities to help you meet and match with new partners and submit EDF applications. Some news on the EOA project. We have a brand new website to animate the community, which is featuring a description of the EDF and related initiatives. We also built an event calendar for you to see every upcoming event that you would be interested in, which is related to the EDF. And we are also working on the partner search platform that will be coming soon. And you also have the ability to search your NFP and ask for their questions and contact them. Finally, the EOA project also opened its own LinkedIn page, where we are publishing regular news on EDF related topics. And as we said, you'll be able to download at the end of the session the whole PDF presentation to have all the links and information you might need. That's a bit an overview on the EOA project. Now let's begin with the share of experience. We'll welcome as a first speaker Luis. Luis is CEO at Pietrafitta. He holds a bachelor degree in industrial engineering, specializing in mechanics, and an executive MBA from the Spanish Instituto de Empresa. So Pietrafitta is a company focusing its activity on special suspension system technologies for armored vehicles and power distribution systems, as well as acquisition, analysis, and forecasting of data on board vehicles. Luis, I will leave you the floor, and you have
Hello, thanks for the introduction. Let me go forward. Okay, Pietrafitta. I would like to shortly introduce Pietrafitta. Pietrafitta is an SME based in Madrid, but with presence in Germany. We are focused in three main business units, as you said: testing systems, data analysis, and data gathering; suspension solutions for armored vehicles and heavy vehicles; and defense electronics, which is power distribution, mainly in solid state. Okay, we are 60 people, and we have revenues around 8 million last year. Okay, so we are involved in the EDF and in the previous program EDIDP, and we have been involved in 4 projects now. Soon we hope there is a 5, and leading 2 of them. So what are our general considerations regarding an EDF and what should be taken to consider? First is the project and the effort required. EDF programs are highly rewarding, but require high investment also. And one of my first advice will be, do not do it without expert people on your side. So here you have 2 options. First is many of us has done that way, is to acquire that knowledge and have that people inside your company to be able to prepare the program, participate, all the documentation, all the legislation, all the requirements. Or if you are not willing to have that capacity internally, or you are not able, I will advise to find a company that gives you that capacity. Our consultancy company, there are some of them, and you do not need, it could be a good option not to look inside your country for those companies, because some of them are maybe located in Belgium, in Finland, in Spain, in France. So it will be a good starting point to look with who are you going to prepare the proposal. Second point will be, you have to identify the project where you wish to participate, and you have to match that with your national objectives, because not all the MODs are willing to support projects in all the categories, and that's something you have to look country by country. So that's first thing. Good thing is that for SMEs, there is always an open call with open topics in research and development, which helps a lot because we don't have to be in a specific project. We could prepare our non-project and try to win and gather support from MODs. Third point will be, and it's a critical point because it's up to you and you could be disqualifying later in the process, is to ensure you know all the regulations that apply your consortia, and that all your members are up to be eligible, especially in SMEs consortia. You have to gather and make deep research that the companies of your consortia are eligible, and is up to the company to do this at the beginning, but will be a check if you are awarded with a final EDF. And next but not last is obtaining MOD support. First your MOD, and then you have to look for other MODs. In SME projects, this is probably one of the most complicated parts, especially with other countries, as you might be looking for other SMEs that they are not familiar with their own MOD or they don't have contact. That's when, for example, for us, Spanish MOD support us a lot, gathering other countries' support, but consultancy companies could be very helpful here. I will also advise to look for national associations, defense associations. There are always working groups where you could find other companies looking for consortia, looking for participating in EDFs, and it's a great place to find other companies. But you should not never look to the project itself, and companies should be should add value to your company, not to be competitors. As if you're awarded, then you have to coordinate the project, and if everyone brings capacities to that project, then you will have a smooth project development and not a hard one. Okay. Last advice will be careful with part B. When you elaborate the proposal, as part A is hard, meaning that you have to be careful, but part B is time consuming. So consortium elaboration should start now for 2025 and should not start on July. If you start on July, you are late. As soon as you start, better chances to have a good consortium, have MOD supports, and to prepare all the documentation. But this is has great reward for us. Financing R&D projects means company growth, means new products, new markets. But not only, it's also a great business development side, as we have been able to work with many of the big companies in Europe in defense sector, and showing us our technological capacities, which is always a great network place to be. Also, we have been able to work with end users. For example, for us, it's not as easy as SME to be able to work with other foreign MODs as France, Germany, Finland, Italy, but being able to work in EDF programs brings forward that possibility, which is also quite enrichment for your company. And we had also create hard and good partnerships with many of the companies we have been working for the last 4 years. And now they are not only consortium members, they are good partnerships for our main business. And that's thanks to the EDF programs, where we have been able to build trust, see what could each other do. And that's, for me, one of the other big advantages. But main difficulties, I have been in the previous presentations, but I will have I would like to recall them as a resume. First, identify optimum consortium members. Here, critical point is need to ensure eligibility, not only in SMEs, some of them could not be eligible because of foreign control or not European control. Regulations and legislation research, for example, all the IE programs has specific ethical requirements that need to be addressed. Obtain MOD. You have to be fast here and work at the beginning, not leave it to the end, because requires a lot of work, and especially for SMEs that they are not usually close to their MODs. Also, this is what I was talking about at the beginning. You require expert people here. You could not do it without the knowledge, because if you want to build an SME project, you require to guide many of the SMEs that might be perfect for your consortium, but they don't have the knowledge. So how someone in the consortia has to have the knowledge, otherwise it's not possible to prepare a proposal. So if you don't have it, again, hire it. Either way, subcontract it or at your own company. And be careful with the time consuming of part B. It requires full dedicated personnel for sure. For last thing, I have not talked a lot about big calls. Big calls is what we call, for example, the new European main battle tank project called from last year, where all the big companies are involved. SMEs, unfortunately, they are not able to lead big calls because we don't have the capacity. So you have to be invited to be in that program. So you have to be close, either your MOD or either the big companies of your country, to be involved in those kind of calls. So, okay, this is for last. This is our point of contact for the EDF projects, if you require later, as the presentation is going to be shared. And that's it for my part.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you for your presentation. Very valuable insights on how you managed to submit a proposal and win it. We already have some questions for you in the chat.
Okay.
So the first question would be from Ante Lemout. Have you collaborated with any consultant not from your own country, which you can also recommend?
Yes, we had, in fact, this year working with C&V, which is a Belgian company, but Belgian-French company, and we have a great collaboration with them. We had also worked with in Finland with I have to remember the name. I will write it right now in the chat. But also great people, lot of knowledge on how to manage this kind of projects and how everything works. So probably there are more, but we have experience with those two companies.
Okay, very clear. Thank you. Yeah, don't hesitate to put the references in the chat if you're okay with this. What does the MOD stand for? And I see that we have a very dynamic audience who is even responding directly to the questions.
Okay, MOD is Ministry of Defense. Sorry for the acronym. We are used to
work. Yeah, we just had the reply in the chat from an attendee, so thank you very much, Lorenzo. What is the maximum funding rate for SME in the EDF?
It depends for SMEs, we have an extra bonus compared with the big companies, but it also required of topics, not topics, type of development. For example, research has 100% funding, but prototyping is 55% with the maximum SME extra bonus. So it depends of what activity do you develop inside your program. In development projects, in research, I think it's 100%, but that is in the EDF regulations. You could find details about how to calculate the maximum funding for SMEs.
Yes, exactly. There is a whole cost classifications that you are able to claim depending on the action you want to implement. Maybe we'll switch to the second presentation and have the last questions at the end of the presentation, because
I will try if you want to answer the questions in the chat in the meanwhile.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And quick reminder also, you have a questions box which is dedicated to the questions, and please leave the chat to other purposes. Thank you very much. Switching now, moving onward to the second speaker. We'll welcome Sander, who is managing director at Embedded Engineering. Sander obtained his PhD in 2023 on intelligibility of non-native speech. He currently manages Embedded Engineering, which is formerly Embedded Acoustics, a leading company design, manufacture, and marketing of sensor and display technologies for in the defense and security domains. Sander, the floor is yours. You can also hand out the slides. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction. Very good to be here this morning to share you some of our experiences. First, a few words about Embedded engineering, well, we just recently changed our name. We were founded in 2010 as Embedded Acoustics, which is still how most people know us. We have three main activities. We do hardware and software-defined services for security and defense. We have our own portfolio of products for law enforcement and defense, including covert surveillance equipment. And we also have a civilian product portfolio for acoustic measurements under our brand Bedrock Audio. Our staff count is currently about 30. We're at about 4.5 million in turnover. And everything we do is somehow focused on either defense, security, or safety. So if you wish to contact me, my email address is here. Today, primarily, I'll talk about our experiences in the EDF project Lodestar. We also participate in another project. This is the one that we coordinate. It's from the 2021 Open SME Research Call. It has a budget of a little under 4 million euros. It's still running until May of next year. And what we do is research on the use of augmented reality and artificial intelligence for the dismounted soldier system. There are 5 partners in the project from the Netherlands, France, 2 from Lithuania, and 1 from Spain. So we kicked off in 2022, completed in 2025. What we do, as said, augmented reality and AI in the dismounted soldier system. That means that we build hardware to experiment with, although some of this stuff is already really cool and high TRL looking, it's still very much research. And we try to come up with ways to make the information stream towards the soldier more manageable by having good display technology, but also by using AI to streamline the information flow. What I would like to talk about mostly is our considerations for joining EDF and coordinating the proposal, and our experiences in submitting the proposal itself, hopefully providing some inspiration and guidance if you plan to do the same. A lot of what I'll say will overlap with what Luis just told you, which I think is good news. It means that our experiences are not just anecdotal, but apparently everybody has similar experiences. When we started out and considered joining or submitting an EDF project, we thought we had some strengths which played to our advantage. One was that we already had experience with EDF, not with EDF, but with European projects from Horizon Europe and Horizon 2020. And we do have a good national network and a good track record in the Netherlands. So we thought, good starting point. We're well in tune with our own MOD. We also considered that our network within the European Union defense industry, back in 2021 was actually quite poor for the simple reason that most of our customers are in the United States. We had no success with the predecessors to the EDF project program. We tried EDIDP and PADR and were unsuccessful. And Horizon 2020 had been poor in recent experiences as well. So we've waited and we thought, well, we want to go for it. I will tell you about our experiences with some disclaimers attached to it. It's a little bit limited to what we happen to do or what we happen to take as our starting point. Anyhow, what we wanted to get out of joining EDF was a better EU network, finding funds for our defense R&D, and a better long-term outlook for our R&D program. Our company does a lot of R&D, but maintaining course over time means that you need stability in your R&D funding, and these larger EDF projects are perfect for that. So disclaimer, just our experience, told with hindsight, possibly highly subjective, possibly applicable to the call I'm talking about, which is the SME research call. And our focus is completely on SMEs. So I try to present something of a checklist of steps to take here. First of all, it starts out, if you consider participating, you'll have to study calls. The process for next year is already well underway. The calls are already there. There are draft versions out there. So, people are already reading them. You might already have an idea of what's coming in the calls next year. If you don't, know that there is information out there if you know where to find it. And the bad news, if you're not working on it already, is that consortia are already being formed. You're not late if you're not part of a consortium for 2025 yet, obviously, because there's still, well, what is it, 10 months to go before the deadline. But the train is already moving. Now, if you need to choose which efforts, which proposals in consortia to join, my first advice would be that it is essential that you have a good strategic fit. If even if it sounds like a project with good partners, if the topic of it is not lined up, not aligned with your company strategy, I would advise against doing it. Consider that writing a proposal is a big task, especially for the coordinator. You don't know beforehand what your success rate might be. Statistically, looking at this year's submissions, it could be statistically as low as 5% in the open SME research call, because there are a lot of proposals there. And it could be much higher if you're participating in a call topic that's not as popular. But also consider that joining a proposal gives you much more than just the budget. Luis mentioned the advantages that he experienced. I can echo that. There's more than just the budget. It helps you with network and a lot of other things as well. Now, if you are considering coordinating, so this is the options that you have. You can join a consortium that's being built that already has a coordinator attached, or you can start one up and then you're on the stage to coordinate it. The advantage of coordinating is that you get to choose your partners. You have more control over the proposal, and you get more control over how the budget is divided across partners because you're in the lead. There's a few obvious disadvantages to being a coordinator as well. It's a big effort. I estimated for the SME projects, we have invested every time we submitted something 3 to 4 person month just in coordinating administrative tasks, writing tasks, and making sure that everything happens. You don't know if you'll get the project. And it is not, I'll be honest, not always the most inspiring work. Some of it is just, chasing people, getting forms filled out. Again, I think Luis also said this. I think the thematic topics are the big ones, like the 20 to 100 million ones are not suited for an SME coordinator. But the non-thematic ones, the SME topics, are very well suited, of course. So a few further advantages of those non-thematic SME topics that you find in the calls. You get to choose the topic to fit your own strategy. You don't have to deal with the topics that are in the call. You can decide for yourself what you want to do. I feel that it is truly an open competition with a level playing field. I do not exclude the possibility that there are some politics ongoing with the big proposals, but the SMEs I trust to be a level playing field, and just the quality of the proposal that decides your chances. You get to choose between research and development projects. There is what is called lump sum funding for these calls, which means that there is a lower administrative burden, just simply less paperwork to fill out. And in the research project, it's also possible for research organizations like your national research institutes to join. Some disadvantages, especially the research topic is highly competitive. And the budget per project is not that big compared to the thematic calls with 4 million for the research and 6 million for the development topics. Now, if you want to bootstrap writing the proposal, you'll have to take a number of steps. First of all, you need to assemble a team to write a proposal. You need to get registered with the EU, get your login and your identification numbers and everything you need to do. Find a topic, write the proposal outline, and I think it is essential that you coordinate with your national MOD, Ministry of Defense, especially as a coordinator. Maybe a quirky bit of advice is that I would suggest that if you start this work, find an acronym quite early, because communicating about something that already has a name is much more effective than repeating your 1-minute elevator pitch whenever you talk to somebody. And then form a consortium. You're probably working on it already when you're here. You find network brokerage events. There are profiles on the EU portal of many companies interested. Don't forget that you probably have a big network of yourself as well. Just ask around. And consultants also can help you with this. We chose to do our proposals, including Lodestar, without the help of a consultant. But it is definitely something they can help you with as well, with consortium forming. When writing, I would strongly encourage that if you are a coordinator, keep all your partners involved by setting up a cadence of online meetings, a way to share documents. As Luis said, the heart of the proposal, part B, a lot of work. It's a big document, can be up to 100 pages. The template is on the portal. You need to download it and fill it out. As you write a proposal, you have to just keep satisfying the system by filling out the fields on the F&T portal and complete your main part B, but also the annexes. So there are a lot of annexes to part B. The total file that you compile when you submit a proposal can literally be hundreds of pages. And a very important part, of course, is the budget, which is an annex that is in Excel. If you're a first-time coordinator, you might be inclined to underestimate how much work goes into filling this Excel. That's also a big job. Also mentioned by Luis, make sure that your proposal is eligible. If you're an SME, make sure that everybody really is an SME. Don't take their word for it. Make sure that all your partners fill out the SME self-assessment, and make sure that you properly address all the other dimensions that are mentioned in the documents, such as the ethics and the security dimensions. And my advice is also keep reading the call text and the guidelines, not just at the start of the process. While we're working on it every month, I keep reading through these things to remind myself of all these little rules that are important. Some specific tips, I would make sure that you study the typical EDF terminology. Know the words, because it makes it much easier to read the documents. Keep reading the documentation. The quality of the proposals in our award criterion, so it really pays to have good reviews, have good revisions. You don't have to make it 100 pages long. I know for a fact that evaluators prefer it if you keep it shorter if you can. It helps to distribute the work early among your partners. Optimize towards the award criteria. The award criteria are openly published, so how the evaluators will grade your proposal is known. You can use that information to your advantage. I would advise against using online AI tools, especially in defense project, but in general. Keep your text fresh and original. Set internal deadlines, be strict, keep checking, and last but not least, for the final weeks, block your calendar. People underestimate this, but in the last few weeks leading up to the deadline, you will not have time to do anything else. So the picture I sketch is that it's a lot of work. I may not sound very encouraging, but is it worth the investment? Absolutely. I'm so glad that we did it. And we will continue to participate in EDF proposals because it's brought us so much that we wouldn't have been able to organize for our company otherwise. That's it. Happy to answer some questions if there's time.
Thank you very much, Sander, for your presentation. We have had quite a lot of questions in the chat, but with an issue of time, I will ask you to answer directly on a written format in the chat or in the questions box.
Yep.
We also have a quite reactive chat box with plenty of messages, partner researchers. We also have offers of consulting companies and so on. So please feel free to exchange directly with other attendees in the chat. Victor has raised his hand. Please go ahead. So we cannot hear you, Victor. Okay, you can also write a message in the chat if you want to provide some inputs.
I will answer some questions in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you very much, both of you. And we'll welcome our third speaker, Begonia from GMV. She currently works as head of European initiatives at GMV. She has worked extensively with the Spanish Joint Headquarters staff and the Secretary of State for Defense in Spain, contributing to implementation, among others, of national capability defense planning and its integration to NATO and EU processes. I'll give you the floor, Begonia. Over to you. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you very much, Leo, and thank you for the opportunity that you bring us to speak about GMV experience with the European Defence Fund, or the EDF, and to share some recommendations for new participants. GMV has been a key player in the EDF ecosystem since the beginning, and we are very happy to be able to help others to navigate also in this European initiative. Let me start with a brief introduction of our company. We are not a small company as the other. GMV is a multinational technology group. Until last year, we have been a mid-cap, but for EDF 2025, finally, we will be a prime. So maybe we will not be so attractive as in past editions, or as you can be in EDF. Our headquarters are located in Madrid, and we were founded 40 years ago. And at this moment, we have office located in 12 different countries. Our roots are tied to space and defense, but we have expanded to other markets as aeronautical, financial, or other industries. And regarding EDF, today we are participating in 36 different projects, leading 2 of them. And we are very honored because this places us in the top 10 participating companies across Europe. So about our journey in EDF, this starts long time ago for GMV. Our involvement in defense research and development began in 2004 with the preparatory action on security research. And over the years, we have participated in initiatives such as Horizon 2020, PIDR, EDIDP, and now in EDF. And we have learned a lot of each of these projects, of each of these initiatives. Each program has new rules and different dynamics. So we need to adapt continuously. And one takeaway from our journey since 2004 is the importance to be sure and to know that research and development is risky by definition. You are going to employ a lot of time preparing a proposal, as Javier, as Luis, or Sander has explained you before, and sometimes you are not going to win, but you are going to learn a lot of things, even you will not win the proposal. For us, the EDF and the other initiatives has been a platform to establish new contact, to establish new partnerships, and also to drive innovation inside GMV. I'm sure that you know that the prominent role of the primes, of big companies, leading proposal, but also as there's a dedicated call for SME. And regarding the primes, could be a good idea also that you use the prime companies in your countries to help you to be in a proposal. I recommend you to approach to them. Some of our recommendations. Participating in EDF projects has taught us several lessons. First of all, for us, it's critical to align your EDF activities with your strategy, with your internal research agenda. This is fundamental to ensure continuity and maximize your participation. You need to define your goals. Ask yourself, what do you want from EDF? Is for your company a platform to develop new technologies? Is a networking opportunity or a pathway to new markets? We think that having clear your priorities is essential. Also, the EDF covers a lot of areas, but it's important to choose, to concentrate on that ones that are aligned with your strengths and your strategic internal plan. Also, I think you need to think in your volume of activity. Also in EDF, there's different kind of projects with different volume, different budget. You need to be sure that how amount of volume of work can you afford. We have participated in so many projects where small companies prefer to have not so much amount of budget because they can't afford, because they don't have enough people. So you need to think before you start the project how many effort you can put in the project. Okay. You need to employ all the resources, or I recommend you to employ all the resources available. For us, here in Spain, the national focal point, the MFP, is really very helpful. Also, we have contact with companies in other countries through their national focal points. So I recommend you to be sure that you know which is your national focal point. Also, attending these kinds of events, attending all the events that the European Commission, the Info Days, they organize in Brussels. They are very useful. We have also find some companies in that kind of events and select them to participate in the proposals. I'm not sure if it was Sander or Luis who said that EDF 25 has started. Officially, it haven't started, but it's true that the consortium are more or less start to be formed during this month of December. But also in the EDF Info Days, for the small companies, there's opportunities to be heard by a big company and to be part of a proposal. And also, not for this year, but this coaching system is a really good idea for SMEs to participate. This year is only available for those SMEs that were selected in 2022, but there will be more years. And I strongly recommend to you to use also this tool. As my colleagues has explained before, you need time to understand the process. You need time to know the EDF words and take time to understand EDF structure, the requirements, and this also includes, and is very important, to be familiar with export control licenses, personal and company security documentation, how to manage or how to handle restrict information, restrict data. I'm also sure that your ministries of defense or through your national focal points or through any of your companies in your country could help you in this. And be sure to know the eligibility criteria. We have seen that in many projects that once awarded, the European Commission has eliminate one of the companies of the proposal, even when the proposal has been awarded, because one of the companies didn't fulfill all the eligibility conditions. So be very careful with this, and do not underestimate the commercial effort. You need time to write the proposal, a lot of time to write the proposal. You need time to make your network with other companies. So be sure that you have enough time or you dedicate enough time for this. And one last recommendation is present pitch in this kind of events and also in the Info Days. Last year, to have a clear example, last year in the Info Days of EDF 2024, we select 3 different companies, 3 different small companies that have present a pitch in the EDF Info Days. Oh, sorry. They were companies that we didn't know, and thanks to this event, we contact with them and we have present a proposal in EDF 2024. Also, some of the consultancy companies, as Luis has mentioned before, sometimes they have approached us to present SMEs companies, and also we have select for 2024, we select 1 or 2 companies that those consultancy companies recommend us. So this could be also a good idea for you. And let me close with this main idea that there is no magic pill for be success in EDF. You need time, you need to know the process, and it's very important that you were able to create network, because the network could help you in your country, with your national, with the big companies in your country, with your national focal point. However, creating network, presenting ideas in the European Commission events, aligning your efforts with your strategic goals. For us in GMV, the EDF is a tool for develop our internal research and development strategy. And we have seen in first hand how impactful could be the EDF. It has helped us a lot to develop our products. So I encourage you to take advantage of the support systems that you have, especially your national focal point, also your industry associations. Here in Spain, we have 2 of them, AESMIDE and TEDAE. I suppose that in other countries you have more or less the same concept, and they can help you. And this is all from my side. I will be happy to answer if you have any questions. Here you have my email. If you need, after this event, you want to post me any questions. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you, Begonia. Thank you very much for your presentation. I think we'll move forward and give some room at the end of the webinar. Let's say 10 to 15 minutes at the end to have the opportunity to exchange among speakers, answer all the questions that might not have found the answers in the chat.
I will answer also in the chat.
Yeah, sure, perfectly. And you also put the emphasis on how NFPs can help you and educate the applicants. I think it's very important to have your NFP identified. And
unless here in Spain, for us, has been very useful. And also in other countries, we have asked sometimes help to our national focal point to put us in contact with a national focal point of any other country. And we have reached to different companies through this process. So
perfect. And the network of NFPs, which has been formed by the EOA project and animated, is also here to offer the opportunity for applicants to meet and match and receive those best practices, for example, with this very special webinar.
Yes. I don't know. There's some questions here in the chat, but I understand that we need to continue. So I will try to answer by.
Yeah. Perfect. For the audience, you can see the answers from Begonia in the chat. Perfect. Thank you very much. And as the last speaker, we'll welcome Pascal, who is coordinator of the Research and Innovation Projects financed by the EDF at the EOA. Pascal holds a PhD in physics from the Sorbonne Université, He worked at the French Ministry for Research and Higher Education as the French national representative at the Horizon 2020 Energy Program Committee. He also worked at the French Ministry of Defense on the setting up and implementation of the EDF, and now working at EOA. Pascal, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Leo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect. Go ahead.
Super. So thank you to give me this opportunity to talk about the European Defence Fund and about the CEA. So just to start, the CEA is a research and technological organization. The full name is French Alternative Energies and Atomic Energy Commission. And the CEA is a key player in research and innovation in 4 main domains: defense and security, transition energy, digital transformation, and health technology. And these all 4 missions are built on a strong basic research. So we are quite big with 20,000 employees, and we have 9 research centers disseminated in France. We are interested in the EDF because we work on a lot of technologies that we have dual potential. Our technologies and our infrastructures have a dual potential. They can be useful for civil application, but can also find military applications. In the EDF, we are strongly committed and involved since 2021. We submitted an average of about 10 proposals per year in the 2021-2023 period. And we are currently involved in 25 EDF projects so far. And last November 2024, we submitted 19 proposals as a coordinator or partner or subcontractor. So defense is a complex ecosystem, and we have to work at national level with our French MOD, with French defense industry, and at the European level with European institutions and all the European partners, research centers and industry. So we have to deal with a complex ecosystem, and to do that, CEA create an innovation defense program in 2020, a new program within the CEA to deal with all the innovation and in the defense sector. We also signed a partnership general agreement with the French Ministry of Defense. The main objective of this agreement is to promote the dialogue between CEA and the French MOD and to develop joint innovation. Basically, we identified 9 thematic areas of mutual interest, and we work together on these thematic areas to implement national or European actions. So we are listed here the 9 thematic areas on dual research, international collaboration, AI, the components, energy, materials, cognitive sciences, quantum, and innovation. And also, we participate in creating a new European association of the European Research and Technological Organism named EDRIN. EDRIN have been set up in 2020. It's a new European group of research organizations involved in the defense and research and innovation sector. 9 research organizations are engaged in this group so far. So you can see 2 French organizations named CEA and ONERA, TNO, FOI, VTT, BPTI, Fraunhofer, the CERT in the Greek CERT, and INNOV in Portugal. EDRIN is strongly involved in the defense sector. You can see that EDRIN is involved in the EDA CAPTEX, and also the EDRIN members participate 136 times in about 80 EDF projects in all categories and in both development or research projects. I can give here the example of Counteract, which is an EDF 2021 research action that have been won by CEA as coordinator. 26 partners from 10 European countries are involved in Counteract. Counteract aims at setting up preclinical and clinical studies of medical countermeasures targeting CBRN threats. Basically, it's we work on new antidotes for toxins and poisons, military poisons. The Counteract will run from 2022 to 2026, and the total budget of the project is 56 million euro, with a grant of 49 million euro from the EDF, and the other part of the budget comes from the National Ministry of Defense. So currently, the project works normally. Scientific work is done within the scheduled deadlines, so everything is fine. But I would like to raise some challenges regarding this project and the EDF. So first, as it has been already underlined by the previous speakers, setting up an EDF project and the coordination requires a lot of time and efforts. Even with an external consultant, we had for this project the consultant Arctic, but it has been a big amount of work to setting up the project, and the coordination is also a big amount of work. One challenge also is that in this project we have fund coming from Europe and we have fund coming from National Ministry of Defense, and there are different financial rules, so it's an issue. We had also some difficulties in finding the right contacts in the CEA support services. EDF is a new program, so we have to find who in the CEA will have some competencies regarding export control or managing restricted data, for example. So it's currently a learning process. We face also a challenge regarding the lack of knowledge of the DGDFI about the use of animal experimentation and the associated ethics. So we have a lot of pedagogy to do and a lot of discussion with DGDFI regarding this issue. We can see also complicated communication between the national MODs, the DGDFIs, and the project coordination. Sometimes you don't have the same messages coming from the national MODs and the DGDFI. So it's a lot of work to coordinate all these stakeholders. And also a challenge was the very short contracting deadline for the grant agreement, and because of the huge volume of necessary documentation, and it was tough to contract the grant agreement at time. So thank you. I can reply a question now.
Thanks, Pascal. I think we'll give some room, about 10 minutes, to answer all questions that wouldn't have found their answers. We have first a question for you, Pascal. The status of CEOA, is it a research institute?
Yes, CEA is a research institute, is a public research institute. It has been created in 1945, just after the World War II in France. And now it's one of the big research institutes in France, like CNRS, for example.
Okay, very clear. Thank you very much. And maybe another question for you. And after we will move to other speakers to contribute as well. Is there currently a stop in taking new members into EDRIN?
Yes, it's possible to take new members to EDRIN. We are currently 9 members, but we have also a Danish partner looking for participate in EDRIN, for example. And the only thing is that EDRIN is for research organizations dealing with defense activities.
Okay, all right. So it's not closed then. Maybe moving to the other speakers who have an interesting question on the financial efficiency of the projects. If you don't use the 10-15% dedicated to the consultancy fees, is it well seen by the Commission? Is it better than having it coordinated by a consultant, an external partner? What would you say? Sander raising his hand. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it's well, I raised my hand because it's what I'm always wondering as well. When you're writing a proposal, you wonder all the choices you make, how they impact your chances in the minds of the evaluators, because that's what it basically comes down to. These evaluators will look for one of the things, the criteria is related to value for money, right? So how will they judge this? I think it's a judgment call. In this case, I would expect it not to make any difference at all. If I were evaluating a proposal, you look at the merits on this of a proposal as a whole in this aspect, and whether there's money spent on a consultant or not. I don't think it should matter at all. But you never know. It comes down to people who know what they're talking about because they're selected for that. But still, individual opinions that come into play.
Would someone from the speakers have another set of mind or maybe other inputs on that? Maybe Pascal, you were supported by a consultant.
Yes, it was very useful for us, and I think there's no. I think there's no bonus point during the evaluation because you have a consultant, but it's very helpful. So
Okay, thank you. Begonia?
Yes, I just want to remark that in our case, we do not use any consultants, but they can help us to find partners. They can help you to find partners and to join a consortium. And there's no penalization for using them. The only thing that I recommend you, and this is what we believe in GMV, that of course is very useful to use a consultant, but be a little bit careful, because if the consultants make your work, you are not going to learn how to draft the proposal. But this is our point of view. We are now big company, so it's very different how we write the proposals from a small company. But if you are working with a consultant, that they really help a lot. But be sure that you also learn from them how to write a proposal, how is the process, which documentation do you need. Try to learn from them also, not to left all the work in their hands, and not be the part of how they write the part B or the part A.
Right, but there is still a balance. There is still a balance to find between the consultant work and how you are involved in the building of the proposal. Maybe especially on the distribution of funding, could be an issue. Thank you for your inputs. Maybe another question which has not found an answer yet. Victor is raising his hand. Please go ahead, Victor. Try again. Yes, we can hear you.
All right. I just now it didn't work. So I have a question first, Sander, because I think in the first thing it said with weaknesses that you.
It's not really loud and clear. Sorry, we cannot hear you well. You maybe try another thing with your mic.
And now?
Oh yeah, it's better, I think.
Is it better?
Yeah.
And how's this?
Please go ahead, Victor. Victor, can you hear us? No? Okay. We'll maybe try again later. Or ask directly the question in the chat. Thanks. I have a question from Sven Frank about the ownership control. For example, you have a participant which is established in France but controlled or owned by a UK entity. Is there the possibility for a national MOD to provide a waiver in return for guarantees? Is it the case? I'm not aware of that. Sorry. Pascal, maybe? Yeah.
Yes, you can have. Normally, to participate in the EDF project, you have to be controlled by the EU 27 and Norway. But you can have an assessment of the French Ministry of Defense for this company, who is controlled by a UK company. If it's established in France, the French Ministry of Defense can give the authorization to participate in the EDF.
There's also the option that you can provide guarantees. So if there is control from outside of the union, in some cases it is possible if you get the proper guarantee that is signed off on, but the company has to agree to it and somebody has to sign off on it. And it's about making sure that the IP does not land outside of the union.
Okay, thank you very much for your inputs. Maybe one question to Luis. Do you have any recommendation to keep in mind when negotiating participation into a consortium? So joining the consortium, maybe some tips.
I think you require three things. You need to know what each one is going to do. It seems obviously, but it's not always the limits clearly defined. I will require to early negotiate and be clear about all the IP regarding this kind of consortium. The European Commission says that during EDF project, with what you develop is your own IP forward. But that's something that needs to be clear in order, because sometimes one company wants to develop a product, another companies help through the consortium to develop that product. So how that regulates through licenses or wherever you agree have to be clear from the beginning, usually in a memorandum of understanding that you sign at the beginning. Another thing is financing. As I says, not all the companies have the same interest in the consortia, and usually not 100% of the consortia is financed. So it has to be clear who fills the gap and how. There are sometimes governments helps, but not in full support. So that's something you should negotiate at the beginning, and usually is something useful to require confidence, to ask people not to go in another consortium against you, especially in the specific topics. That's something useful, and you have to be careful because sometimes there are more than one consortium, and you have to be careful which one do you want to choose. And once you have made your commitment, it's not as you have to be up to that. That will be my main points here.
Thank you. Very, very useful, I believe, to all EDF newcomers. Some points to be aware of when you're looking for consortia. Maybe a question on timing to end with the question section. I would have two questions in one. The first one is, what would be your estimation in building one EDF project proposal? And the second one would be, when should you expect to receive your first payment when you get selected?
I think I can answer both of them. For writing a proposal, you need months. Because I think it was under. It's around it has two parts, part A and part B. Part A is the administrative information of all your partners, and it's directly complete in the European platform, in the European Commission platform. Part B is around 100 pages, and it includes some annexes. In that annexes, you need to include information regarding the ownership control information of all the partners, regarding the infrastructures of all the partners. So you need months to complete the proposal. There are also some sections in Part B that are not easy to complete. For example, a market study of this kind of products that you are preparing for the proposal, a market study in the European Union. How will this product enhance the European industrial base? And you need time to write this information. So I think that more than 1 or 2 months to prepare. To prepare the first one, because you can, when you learn, and that's the reason why I told you before that don't let everything in hands of the consultancy. When you learn, you can reuse some information or some parts from one proposal to another. And regarding the timing, when you present a proposal in 1 year, the European Commission takes more or less 6 months to evaluate it, and more or less another 6 months to when you are awarded to prepare the contractual documentation with the European Commission. So once you present the proposal, the project will not start, or the project will start 1 year later. That's also important in order that you manage your resource. And regarding the first payment, in most of the projects, and this is dedicated to SMEs, the European Commission released an initial prepayment just at the beginning of the project that could be between 35 or 55% of the total amount. In this initial prepayment, the idea is that you have enough money to start. Okay? The other payments are in months 18, I think. In month 18, they are established by the European Commission, and they pay at the same time to all the projects. Okay? But at the beginning, you have an initial pre-financing, and this pre-financing, it depends of the financial capacity of the partners. Could be 35 if the European Commission considers that this could be any weak company, or 55.
Right. I think it's very clear. I believe everyone is converging with what Begonia just said. I wanted to give some time to answer the question on green transition in the EDF, because we have a question in the chat on a green tech startup putting an EDF proposal. Is it something you think about when writing a proposal? How your project will be environmental friendly and so on. Is it realistic for a green tech startup to put together an EDF proposal? Maybe to Luis or Sander?
I don't have experience with it, but I would say in principle, yes. I think in any field, the fact that you have a focus on something that's environmentally sound is always good. It's just much harder to do it in defense technology. So if you find a way to do it, it's certainly going to work not against you, but for you. But it just seems harder.
Do the others have other opinions or converge with what Sander said? Pascal, maybe?
You talk about the green tech?
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, yes, I agree with Sander. In principle, there's nothing that can avoid to participate in the EDF for a green tech startup. And each call for proposal regarding EDF are dispatched in 16 categories. And there's a category named energy and environment, which is where the call for proposal are very can be very useful for green tech startups, I think.
Yeah, they are dedicated topics in the EDF that you would be able to apply to. And one last question to Sander. You mentioned that it is a weakness that you were not successful in your earlier applications, whether it is on the EDIDP or Horizon 2020. Wouldn't you say that your experiences led to your success? What would you have to say?
I think in a way, yes. So the question came up, why working with consultants, we talked about it a lot today. I think we did not do it, but the fact that we failed on earlier applications allowed us to learn from our mistakes, perhaps mistakes that the consultant would not have made and would have gotten it right the first time. But at least we were able to go, I would almost say learn the process of how to write a proposal that is potentially a winner. Learn it the hard way. So yes, I think we did learn from our mistakes, and that has helped us.
We can also remind that the EDF is quite a new program, that there are some exchanges, and that might be also challenging also between the partners, the consortia, the DigiDefis, and so on, to implement new ways of working. So that's part of the game. You just apply, and then you can improve your proposals, we say.
Yeah.
All right. I think you can also download now the presentation for all the attendees. You have the apps button in the bottom right of your screen, and you can download the PDF presentation that has been presented today. Thank you very much to all the speakers. Maybe some reminders on the upcoming EOA activities now. In February, on the 26th, the EOA partners from Luxembourg will be organizing an on-site matchmaking event before the GovSatcom 2025 conference. You have the link to register to this physical on-site matchmaking day. And for 2025, we also plan to have 2 other online matchmaking events just like this one, and the registration links will be communicated soon. And I wanted to add as well the EDF Info Days from the Commission that will happen early April 2025, and that will be also communicated on every EOA channel. Thank you very much. Now it's time for the attendees to have fruitful meetings during the whole afternoon on the dedicated platform. Thank you very much to the speakers, to Luis, to Begonia, to Sander, to Pascal, and to all participants. Also huge thanks to EOA partners, Emmanuel, Paloma, Victor, who have been answering the questions promptly and managing the webinar. I wish you all to have a great afternoon. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leo. Bye to everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.